I jumped into really looking at neuroscience, neuroplasticity, quantum physics, and hypnosis, actually, and learned an awful lot about how the mind affects everything. Not necessarily embrace their trauma, but figure through their trauma because it informs so much about who we are and who we become and what our choices are and really simply how we act and react to everything. And in living with an alcoholic, I learned how to become very, very good at walking on eggshells, fawning, and freezing. And then what started for me was what happens to a lot of high achieving people is death by a thousand cuts. I was asked to extend my integrity and my morals and my ethics in ways that did not feel that they were good for me. And what happened was, because I was feeling unsafe, I went right back to fawning and freezing. So I was doing the exact same thing I had done when I was 13, scanning for what was supposed to happen or what might could happen, looking for all the things that could fall apart because that was the way that I could feel like I was coping. A lot of remorse and a lot of regrets, which I have now been able to move through because they ultimately were good learning tools, but they don't serve you in the long run. Good places to visit, not good to bring into your household. There will always be leakage. You understand that the mind and the body and the spirit are all completely need to be in alignment. It's simply a time in our life when we felt unseen, unsafe, unloved, and unheard. And then, like you are going to have some things that need to be dealt with. And we forgive the other stuff that does not do anything but just hold us back. So I think that that's me in a nutshell in terms of what happened, how I went through things, what I chose to deal with, how I chose to deal with it, and then trying to come out on the other side. He was working through his own stuff. When we can forgive our own ways of working in through our own trauma, it's really important.
I believe that self-forgiveness is the most important thing. However, our society is very quick to say, well, you should forgive that and move on.
Please understand that I will never tell you that you have to forgive someone. You will feel better once you have an understanding of your own ways in which you chose to work through things or deal with things in the moment, and understand that at that point, it was the very best that you had.
It's when you feel unseen, unsafe, unloved, and unheard. And by breaking it down like that, I think more people can relate to being in a traumatic experience.
Right.
What happens is when someone is categorized as being traumatized, they haven't been able to adequately complete that cycle. So
Yes.
oftentimes they stay in that physical or emotional response for an extended period of time. And because the cycle isn't closed, the next stimuli will get a bigger response.
And I thought, that's as simple as it is. Like it doesn't have to be your whole world is shaken. So the story that I tell is that you love hiking and you walk in one day with muddy boots after hiking with your dad. It's been a beautiful fall day. Your mother has spent 4 hours cleaning the house, and you walk into the kitchen with your muddy boots, and your mother screams at you because she's human. It can be something so little. And then how does it affect your life? You stop doing something that you loved since the time you were 5 years old. How neuroplasticity allows for us to understand that anything can be delved into and opened up and looked at in a very safe way. Whenever you know that you're triggered by something, you have a response, or sorry, a reaction that is completely out of whack with a stimuli. You know that there is something going on with you that you need to do some unpacking about.
Awareness is number one, reprogramming is number two, and then there is this sense of reinvention, changing the persona that you had to become in order to survive.
So all of a sudden, we will solidify something, like literally develop a neural pathway that says, I am not good enough. I have a funny relationship with money. Like money is a really big trauma one also. You're not supposed to feel like you're hijacked all the time. That is not worthy of being normalized. And yet That's what we are tending to normalize.
Most people don't realize that they're not operating at the full strength. And as a result of not addressing things, we subconsciously become addicted to
Yes.
that state, that peace. What is that?
Yes.
Because I have never seen it. I don't know what that is.
And when I mention the word joy to people, it's like I've said, a different language that they've never heard of before. I am worthy of this calm. I am worthy of a peacefulness. I'm worthy of being with my own thoughts and not being afraid of what that's about. It's the
Mhm.
empowerment of being, really joyful and at peace with who you've chosen to be and show up to be in the world. Yes.
We have so much control of the definition of life, right?
There is a default to victimhood. There's a default to I am being done to, as opposed to I actually have a lot of choice and power that I can exert here. To realize that there are so many ways that you can insert a stick into that cycle and just say, no, no, just even like that's why people always say breathe. Simply breathe and just take 3 minutes to be silent with yourself. It's beautiful how simplistic our lives can become when we strip away the cacophony of noise, when we just allow ourselves to simply breathe and be easy with ourselves. Not that you have to believe in a God or one God, but to recognize that when you are feeling more than just yourself, that there's a real divinity in that, that you are divine in and of yourself. Understand how impactful your world can be on the opposite side of where you're living now, because the impact is unbelievable. I feel out of control, whether it's through rage or anger, or for in my case, it was crying and overeating and being looking for overstimulation, and find a way to instead regulate yourself.
You were not built to break, but you damn sure were not built just to survive. So disrupt the cycle, reclaim your life, and thrive on your own terms.